Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you are watching. I am PlainGuy, and this is the PlainGuy Show. Guys, we were joined on this episode by the Bozz of BattleBozzy Gaming. He is streaming Rocket League over on Facebook. He is an absolute legend. We talked Rocket League, we talked trivia, we talked the Bozzy Cup. Guys, I can't wait for you guys to check out this episode. Thanks for stopping by. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, as promised, we are joined here today with Bozz from BattleBozzy Gaming. Bozz, how are you doing today, my man? How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing pretty good. I appreciate you.
Oh, man, I appreciate having you on the show. Anyone that knows that if come to previous episodes or has come to my stream specifically knows that I am a big Rocket League fan. Trash at the game, but an absolute big fan of it. So to have a man of your stature and a streamer like yourself on here is absolutely phenomenal.
Hey, man, we all feel trash. I'm not gonna lie. You'll hear it everywhere. Anytime somebody's playing, they'll be like, "I'm trash," and they could be one of the best players you've ever seen.
So anyone that doesn't know, Bozz is streaming over on Facebook, BattleBozzy Gaming. You've been at it, Bozz, about 10 months now, give or take. You are a primary, you run Rocket League as your stream. You're always doing tournaments, different things, supporter games, follower games. So much interaction with the community. The one thing we have found over these episodes is the communities that we are meeting. Not only the streamers that we get to meet doing this, the communities we get to meet are unreal.
Yeah, man, it actually blew my mind. It still does, even to today. How incredible the gaming community, but even more specifically the Rocket League community. That's actually why I chose Rocket League as a smaller game. It's because the community is so awesome. Especially when I ended up going onto Facebook right away, and I don't even think Twitch parallels a new streamer on Facebook as far as the community and the following and and the network. Yeah, it's been insane. You're exactly right.
Okay, cool. Well, that is cool. So, Bozz, before we get too far into, we want to talk about these tournaments that you run, the Bozzy Cup. We want to talk about a lot of things. Rocket League with the new season coming. We're going to get to some PlainGuy trivia. The first question we always ask our guests when they come on the show is, and it's the most important one of the show, cat or dog person, and why do you hate cats?
Yeah. Yeah, 100% dog person. And those cats, get them out. No, man, I actually, growing up, I never did like cats. But my mom has one, and I love the cat to death when I'm there. But I'm a dog person, man. I'm a dog person. Yeah.
Yeah, man. They're just more loyal. They're more everything. Yep. Like, we went out on about a 4 or 5 kilometer hike this morning with our dog. You can't do that with a cat.
Nope.
I mean, there's a cat lady that's probably doing that, in all fairness. She's got the leash, the harness. She's out on a hike with her cat, but it doesn't happen very often.
We'll have to start looking at TikToks. We'll find a few.
Yeah, there's definitely TikTok's got it all, man. If Facebook doesn't have it, TikTok is guaranteed to have it.
That's right.
So talking about Rocket League, and so you host a tournament style. I'm gonna let you explain it better, but the Bozzy Cup. I always see it on your social media posts. What is the Bozzy Cup?
Sure. So it actually started as a tournament idea, right? Everybody loves tournaments. So anytime somebody can compete and put themselves in front, especially if they're broadcasted, right? Everybody wants the broadcast time.
Right.
And so I honestly didn't start it for the longest time because I felt like I was, number one, I was a small channel. So I didn't have the reach. I didn't have enough players that would join. And then one of the charities that I was doing was for it was pediatrics, so kids with brain tumors.
Okay.
And it was with a channel that I actually I get along with the guy super well, GG Fire. If you guys have ever heard of GG Fire, and we decided we were going to do he had double the channel size, and I was like, okay, community, this is what we're doing. We're going to compete against his community and try to win these suckers. Well, I mean, he did end up winning. Not by a lot, but I'll tell you what, we had a good enough showing in that tournament, in that charity event, that I was like, okay, we're going to do our own. And there was enough hype around it that we decided to build and do it with the community. And actually, since we started it, we've had, it just keeps growing and growing. So what happened was, we, instead of doing one tournament and giving out X amount of money or whatever, I made it a Bozz Cup series. Okay. And so that way it kept the competition going beyond the one tournament.
Right.
That was my idea, right?
So there's competition within that one tournament, of course, because you want to win the tournament and the bragging rights, but there's also the long game of a season involved.
Right, exactly. So it is essentially a season that you're not committed to. Right. But anytime you play, you get a set amount of points, and every time you place in the top 3, you get a set amount of points. Okay. And after 12 tournaments, we determine the winner in the top 3. And so we do this, we do a higher level. So anywhere from Diamond 3, if you're familiar with Rocket League, Diamond 3 up to GC 3, which is kind of a spread. Yeah. But at the higher, I almost believe that brings like a challenge to some, that some of them are like, hey, I'm not going to touch it. A GC3 sometimes is like, okay, it's too much for me. But at the same time, sometimes it's so good to not only see the players coming up, but see some of the coaching come out of it. See some of the, I don't know, we just have insane players. That's it. and then we go D2 and below, which sometimes also blow my mind, because since it went free to play, we have so many more players jumping into Rocket League, and the learning curve. YouTube alone has so many more videos on how to dribble, how to air dribble. And so these players are going and learning. Like some of these, I watched a video 2 days ago, and there was Silver's air dribbling. And I was like, get out of here. What are you talking about? I didn't even know you could fly as a Silver. Come on. But yeah, so back to your point, the Bozz Cup series. It's 12 tournaments long. We accrue the points for the players. We put on the tournaments every Saturday. We alternate low and high. And so every 2 weeks you get to play in your respective tournament. Okay. And so that way it's not overdone, but it's still 2 tournaments a month for you. And we just try to keep it competitive and fun.
That's a great way that you've done it. I imagine the work that goes into building that kind of layout and figuring out how to make it, is equivalent, is fair and everything. I like that low high. I was wondering how you did that to compensate for the, the golds and the plats and the diamonds, and how everybody would have a chance. So even though, if you're playing in the low and you're a gold, but you can hit that top 5, every a couple tournaments, you can get a point. And it's not like you're competing directly against that GC. You're actually, you're fighting within your own tournament for those points. So that's awesome. I love that concept.
Well, even on any given team. So say you are the gold coming in, there are players of your level on every team, but there are players that match your teammates as well. And so we try to make it even based on MMR, based on play style that we know or that we've recognized. And what's even cooler is some of these players have noticed that, hey, I want to get better now. I want to win some points in this Bozz Cup series, in this tournament. And matter of fact, a guy yesterday, Saturday, everyone was rooting for him so hard, and he finally won one, and he was blowing up. And people will jump into the Discord once it's done, and they just have like a little after party audio after party and just cheer for each other. And it blows my mind. I'm not gonna lie, but it's a sense of community, and I love it. I love it. Shout out Jason.
And your community also at the same time gets to, because you guys, like I said, randomize the teams. Obviously there's the things that go into it, but your community gets to meet other people from the community, play with other people with the community. It's promoting that growth alone within your community. That's exactly right. Which is that's awesome.
Yep, that's exactly right. But I'll tell you what, a lot of people don't understand the work. Like we've talked about it, you and I mean, you're doing this, right? And the amount of work that goes into this alone is insane. Nobody sees it because they see the video and the interview go back and forth, but between the graphics and the time and the editing and the planning and you reaching out to me and us coordinating, like there's so much that goes behind it. The same thing is with the Bozz Cup series. There's so much updating points, updating brackets, keeping it all going. But on the back end, the mods, I don't know if you're familiar with live stream mods, but in any given stream, you have mods that monitor chat and look out for the community and monitor the pages. but
Yeah.
the mods for BattleBozzy Gaming also monitor the tournaments. They check in all the players as they're coming in. They read them the rules. They make sure that they are of the correct rank as they're signing up. They monitor the brackets, so they're live brackets, so you can see them update as you go. So the whole stream or anybody who clicks that link can watch it. They help me with the points, and so I mean, I can't do it by myself. I'll tell you what. So the community and the mods are amazing. So I tip my hat to them every time.
Absolutely. You couldn't do it with, like you said, there's so much that you already have going on. Not to mention you're doing all this while running a live stream, while keeping up with your chat, while interacting with the people, while watching and commenting, while all of that. Yeah, the people behind you that no one gets to see, just like the work behind it, nobody gets to see. The people behind it are just as important.
It's correct. 100%. And matter of fact, I try to call them out every chance I get, because, oh my gosh, if I thanked anybody, it would be them. It would be them. It wouldn't even be myself. I'm just the talking head. I'm just there reading chat, trying to talk about the game. You know what I mean? But they're making it smooth. So
you're the charismatic guy behind the microphone. They do all the nitty gritty.
Exactly.
No. All right. So we are going to get into some more of the Rocket League. I do want to talk about the Silvers air dribbling, because that's some bull that we need to address. Season 4 coming out.
Sure.
I want to get into as well the name and the BattleBozzy and everything and where it came from. But before we do, I'd like to take this chance to get into the PlainGuy trivia. So PlainGuy trivia is sponsored by Project PCs. Project PCs is your one-stop destination for all your PC needs. Everything from pre-built to one-of-a-kind custom builds, Project PCs has what you need. Visit projectpcs.ca for more info. Your project, their passion. So, Bozz,
hey, Project
how are you feeling about trivia?
Really quick before that trivia, where do they ship Project PCs?
Where do they ship? They are just in Canada right now. They are locally out of Kingston, Ontario.
Cool.
They are working on the ability to ship internationally and everything, but it is not he is very local to us. A lot of our viewership is from the Canada, Toronto area. We can do mainly Ontario. We can't quite get out to all those states yet.
Cool. Hey, we have a lot of Canada. I was just wondering.
Yeah, absolutely. Craig, honestly, I've dealt with him for my PC. We upgraded my GPU through him. He is the first guy I got a computer off of, and he didn't want to eat. Like, I went to him, I was ready to buy a computer, and he goes, look, this computer isn't what you want. It isn't what you need. Not trying to upsell me. He had nothing to sell me, but it was the most honest and truthful guy, and walked me through everything. This is what you need. This is why you need it. I would send him specs for other computers I was looking at buying, and he would tell me, even though he's not making the sale, would walk me through things. Like, most honest business owner I've ever met. And having a friend in the PC business like that is invaluable. I
agree with you 100%.
So we are going to get to the trivia. The rules of the trivia are simple. One, can you see your keyboard from where you are sitting right now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, well, you can't look at your keyboard for one of these questions.
Okay, fair.
I thought about this after I inserted the question. The trivia is simple. We go 5 for 5, and Project PC donates a gift card to yourself, to BattleBozzy, or to Bozzy. We are not California. We don't do participation awards. It is 5 for 5 or nothing. Our leaderboard currently sits, the highest we have seen is 4 for 5. Ooh, nobody has gone 5 for 5 yet.
Fair.
I've got Project PC's money in my pocket. I am burning to give away. So, Bozzy, question number 1. What 4 letters are directly to the right of Q on a standard keyboard?
To the right of Q?
Yeah.
WERT.
That is correct.
Okay.
I
just remember QWERTY.
Yeah,
QWERTY.
That's QWERTY keyboards, right?
Yeah. And I looked up just so you knew I'm not looking down.
Yeah. No, that is fair. I respect your integrity, sir. All right. We are 1 for 1. Question number 2. What American beer has been long promoted as the king of beers?
Budweiser.
That is correct. 2 for 2. They start to get a little tougher.
No, they should.
They should.
It's too early, and I'm bad at trivia, and this is good so far. We're good. Everyone
All
says that
right.
though, right?
So 2 for 2. Question number 3. What is the only fruit that has its seeds on the outside?
Ooh.
Think carefully.
Strawberries.
That is correct. 3 for 3. Oh man. Oh man. He's making the run, ladies and gentlemen. Bozzy is making the run. Question number 4. You watch cartoons as a kid? That's not the question, but
Cartoon Network. Sure.
Okay,
Nickelodeon,
so
maybe. Yeah.
this might be an easy one for you then.
Maybe.
What is the name of the prehistoric town in which the Flintstones live?
Bedrock.
That is correct.
Yeah.
4 for 4. With a chance for the gift card from our wonderful sponsor today, Project PCs. Question number 5. Nepal is located on which continent?
Yeah, bless it.
We couldn't let you have it easy.
No, you're right. And everybody's like, come on, man.
When they're watching this video, they're gonna be typing it, going, "You know this. It's easy.
It's probably
this."
true. Let's see, Nepal. Let's say Asia.
That is correct.
Yeah.
5 for 5.
I couldn't get out of the Europe, Asia. Like I had to go Asia.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first ever 5 for 5 winner of the Project PCs PlainGuy Trivia and a new leader on our leaderboard. Congratulations, Bozz.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations. I am, like I said, I had money burning a hole in my pocket, and I am glad to be able to give it away to somebody like yourself that does such great things.
Hey, I appreciate it.
That being said, we talked about this before the show. Giving back is such an important part, right? Whether it be Project PCs, in this case, giving back to the PlainGuy Show, the PlainGuy Show giving to BattleBozzy Gaming. You yourself know that giving back is such an important part, not only for the business side of it, right? There's obviously promotion and different things like that, but just remembering those people that got you to where you are now, remembering that work that got put in, remembering these streamers that are starting off. If I'm not mistaken, sir, you rated me once. That's how we first actually met.
Yep.
You rated me, dropped stars, did the whole raid thing. It was phenomenal. It had me pumped. I was playing Rocket League at the time. That type of give back is so important.
And here we are.
And
here
look
we
how that happens,
are.
right? Look how that happens.
Exactly.
I never thought of it that way, but yeah, that came full circle. But no, you're yourself, like, what is it that like, what are things that you're doing to give back to your community to help? Obviously, the tournament alone gives back to the community,
right?
But what are your thoughts on giving back? How do you help promote other streamers? How do you do everything that you do?
God, believe it, man. We do a lot. Matter of fact, I run it past mods all the time and say, hey, how can we do this? Or I want to do this. Geez, the Bozz Cup series is $1,000.
Wow.
I'm giving,
Wow.
I mean, 500 to the top, 500 to the bottom. Split up between the 3 places. So, that's $1,000 there. I do Cracked, which is a game show at the end of every stream. That's $200 every time somebody cracks the safe. So that's fun. We could talk about that in a little bit as well. Sometimes it's just people in the community. Like I noticed at one point in time, somebody was super positive, always positive. And when I reached out to thank them for always being in the community, always being so positive, I realized they were struggling in life. And it was more about like medical. And so I went ahead and I asked questions that were probably a little bit too much at the time, but I wanted to get to the bottom because I wanted to know how much it would take to help. Right. And one of the mods of mine actually stepped out, Breaking Gaming, and said, hey, let's get together and let's do this. We raised like $2,500 for him.
Jesus.
Charities all the time. So we had pediatric brain tumors a couple months ago, raised over 10,000 in that charity. We have one this coming Saturday. It's a 12-hour stream. We're going to do something fun up front, I'm sure. But at the end, we're going to have the tournament. So the tournament will be fun as well. But the whole stream, I'm going to turn off the star bar and we're just going to have a charity stream. Right. And that will be for mental health and suicide awareness. Whether you're military and it's 22 a day, or it's just everyday life where people struggle and sometimes they don't feel like they have anywhere to turn, which is actually where this gaming page was founded. More or less, I was testing podcast equipment. Somebody came in and said, just because we had said hi to them, they decided not to commit suicide. And that was a young kid from Canada. Anytime I can, if I've heard people are having trouble and they're not eating, I'll just send them something. You know what I mean? And I mean, don't just call out for money, but at the same time, it's just, I hear it through the grapevine and I'm like, hey man, how can we help them? Or have you heard legitimacy for this charity or this cause, or stars, like you're saying, for raiding? Every time we go into a raid, it's not even just me. The Battle Fam allows me to give stars the way I do, right? And that's because it's to grow and spread and make somebody's day, like you were talking about. That's the idea. But they're doing it too. They're coming in the raid and they're also giving. And so we just have a great community that also gives back. They send me food on 24-hour streams. They send each other food for the heck of it. You know what I mean? So they are also giving. It's a community thing. It is just like, I mean, I can't just be like, hey, everybody should be great and give to one another and be positive all the time if I'm not willing to do it myself. And I think that's kind of where we come from. So
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, 10 months you've been doing this crazy community that you built, this amazingly supportive community, this like just overall genuine. You get that feel, that good, genuine people. You ever thought you'd be here 10 months ago?
No. Oh man. But then again, it's a weird situation too. I finished my master's degree. I was working 2 jobs at the same time. And I decided to leave both those jobs. One of them because it was a marketing company and I cared more than the owner did. Or not a marketing company. I was working in marketing for an app development.
Okay.
That was coming along and they were going into release. And I told this owner, I was like, hey, you gotta do these things if you're going to release. Otherwise this isn't going to work. And, or there were multiple conversations, but that was the last one. And when I realized he wasn't jumping on anything, I was like, okay, this has got to go the other way. Right. And I also left. I was a director for CU in Denver and Anschutz, and decided to leave that as well. And, I was in a car accident immediately after, which took away from 2 of my job interviews. Then within that, and I tore my Achilles tendon. So, and the doctor's like, just don't walk. And I was like, what are you talking about? Don't walk. Come on. I got stuff to do, guy. I mean, come on,
guy. I got things I got to get done here.
I got stuff to do. And then a month later, COVID and restrictions. And so I was like, you know what? This is supposed to be me time. So I hung out and that's the first time I had actually started watching streams and different things. I traveled a little bit more to see my family, road trips because you couldn't fly.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of different things. And then I had a podcast setting up actually with a friend. But once COVID happened, he was like, oh, I'm not doing it, man. My whole apartment building blew up with COVID and I don't want it. So I'm not leaving. So we're not doing it anymore. So I bought all the equipment off of him and I went to test it. And in that first week, it was like 3 or 4 days into testing the equipment and the camera and everything. And the only thing I had to buy was a capture card so I could try it. But I wanted to try it with games because I was gaming a lot at the time.
Right. And
I picked Rocket League for I don't know what reason. I think that was just what me and my friends were playing. I was a gold. I was like gold 2. I didn't belong. I didn't need to be streaming anything. But that's when Tristan came in and he said, hey, man, you said hi to me. And just this talk makes me not want to commit suicide anymore. He's like, otherwise this was done. And I was like, what? And then the next week somebody came in and they said, I've been going through severe depression. And every time I come in here, you talk to me like, you know what I mean? And it just kept happening. It was like a reoccurring. And I was like, there's no way. And I just kept doing it. And I kept hearing the stories and I kept hearing the good things that were coming from it, which was helping me in a way. Right. And nobody realizes that you might be helping them, but they're helping you. There's something to say about purpose.
It's something inside you that is, being able to help and give it helps you grow as a person and all those things. And it's just as valuable.
Yep. So I had a lot of freelance work inside because I was doing a lot of design work at the time. I also have a graphic design degree in video.
That explains the greatness of all the quality of your show.
Yeah, actually, I source out a lot of my stuff. I just know what to look for when I source it. Time is money. Time is crazy, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's where it starts, man.
It's just it took off, and you know, what was your podcast that you were thinking of? What was the actual? Was it about gaming?
No, not even close. Actually, I've never been a huge gamer. That's the irony. That's the irony. When I was growing up, I grew up. Not to date myself, but like Atari, Nintendo was the beginning. Yeah. And as it grew up, like your parents had to allow you, like they had to get used to it with you. As the games came out and they realized you're not going outside to play, you're vegetating in front of a TV or whatever they're calling it, right? And so we had video game days, and and so I wasn't allowed to play a lot. And so I just never was a huge gamer. And then it was actually, when I was in the Army, my brother reached out one time and he said, man, I'm kind of bumming about this situation that was going on. I was like, here, I'll just go out and buy a PlayStation. We'll kick it on the headsets and play Call of Duty. And that's kind of where most of my gaming started is playing Call of Duty with my brothers. And after that, I found Rocket League. Go figure.
Like, so what are you now? You said you were a gold whenever you started streaming. What are you now?
I think champ 2-ish. Yeah. So gold, plat, diamond, champ. So I'm around the champ 2 area.
Damn. That's a climb. From gold to that is a climb.
Well, honestly, if I wasn't streaming, I would probably be better. A lot of it is play. I try to base my whole channel around playing with people, including people in the games, trying to get everybody involved. Even when I'm playing comp, I play a lot with people that are at least around my rank, which is good and bad depending on the day, I guess. But so I could probably be better if I was actually training instead of just playing with anybody, and I had a team instead of, you know what I mean? But at the same time,
that's where I got most of my rank. That's where I got most of my rank from, was playing with, there was one guy that we played every night normally for, a couple hours.
Yep.
And we went from, I probably started at silver and got to plat 3 with him. And then I think I went at the beginning of season 3, I went diamond 2 or something, and then slowly dropped back off the cliff. The Rocket League recline, I call it. But so the podcast was going to be what? What was your original intention?
Oh yeah. That's where that all started. Holy cow. So the podcast was actually, so I had a friend, we were in a master's course together, and it was an accelerated master's. It was 1 year long. I just wanted to go in, get it done, get out. And it was actually one of the most stressful times of my life. But in that, I met a guy that was, so I'm pretty central. I'm pretty central with politics, religion, whatever. I'm pretty like down the moon. And the reason is I like people who say you can't change your mind are crazy to me. Because with new information, you should be able to reevaluate and change your mind. Absolutely. And that's where I sit. I sit in the middle for that reason, because there's always more information. And so he was also in the center, but where I'm a little more right, he's a little more left.
Right.
And so we were able to have great dialogue and talk a lot, but we disagreed. But it was within a margin that we could actually debate it, and it would be fun without being too polar and at each other. And
you mean like Canadian politics?
Right.
You just described our entire political platform. We are here. And everyone else is out here.
Right, exactly. And so with that, we were able to not necessarily be a two-party system in our ideas, but we were actually trying to encompass everything with a different point of view. It was not so polar that we would be
it was okay to be conservative and accept gay marriage, like where the happy medium was, kind of thing.
Right. And so with that though, that's where it originated. And then we started talking with high-level professors, and we started talking with like high-level athletes and people that were doing like millionaire entrepreneurs. And we started booking these for podcast. We hadn't even had podcast number 1 yet, and they started saying they would do it. And so we were like, I think at that point in time, we were planning one a week. And at that, like, I had bought the equipment. He had paid for half the equipment as well. But we were looking at studio and how we were going to set it up and what the requirements for that were. And then obviously I was in the car accident, and then COVID happened, and he was like, okay. And so so long into COVID, he realized, so he's a real estate investor.
Right.
He realized that, hey, real estate's it's a weird situation right now. I don't know how much time I'm going to have for COVID or because of COVID. Right. So right now we're going to have to put that on the back burner. I was like, nope, not me. So I bought all the equipment, and I mean, here we are.
And then just, adopt or die, right? Adopt or die. And you adapted and made, man, that's unreal. Everything was telling you at the same time, like I said, with work and COVID, and like, I'm not a religious man in any way, shape, or form, but man, just the way that everything happened like that, you got to think there's some sort of plan.
I don't know, man. I think that all the time. I think about that all the time. I just tell myself, like, everything, it was like a roadblock in a way, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it ended up being so freeing and allowed me down a road that here we are.
It's the true sense of, when one door closes, another one opens, and you
exactly
not only went through that door, you kicked it down and took no prisoners.
Right. When I was able to quit doing the side work and the stuff that I was doing, I was like, whew, here we go. So.
All right. So that being said, honestly, that's an awesome story. I love origin stories of streamers, period, because some of them, it's all over the place, and yours is definitely a great one. What is the origin then of the name? Where is this Bozzy, this BattleBozzy? Like, where did that all come from?
Okay. So I get this question a lot actually on stream. So I explain it all the time. Well, here we go.
Clearly, I haven't been paying attention.
No. It's fine because this is good. So, when I was a kid, I was maybe a teenager, and I was watching a clip. I think either the internet had just come out, or it was like a news piece.
You were worried about dating yourself earlier, and you just said I was watching a clip when the internet just came out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, YouTube, right? Or whatever. I don't know where the timeline is, right?
Fair enough.
But you're right, though. Here we go. Cover the gray. No, so there's this, it looked like what I remember as a kid, maybe late teens, early 20s kid, who kept referring to themselves as Kiddo Bozzy. And it was, but talking very much like a gangster. And they were saying, nobody messes with Kiddo Bozzy. Nobody messes with Kiddo Bozzy's girl. And if you mess with Kiddo Bozzy, that happens. And I had no idea what they were talking about. But the fact that they kept saying, you don't mess with Kiddo Bozzy, just made me laugh. And so I showed my friend. And after that, that's all we would do. Hey, you don't mess with Kiddo Bozzy. And so then we said that to each other, and then went off to college, and it kind of went different ways. Well, I was in the gym not too far before I started the channel, and we would just mess with each other. Yo, you don't mess with Kiddo Bozzy, and we would shoot a shot, and if it goes in, then it's a big deal, right? So there's a way to talk trash without getting too personal. You don't mess with Kiddo Bozzy. And so that's what it started as. And then for some reason, I had an account name on my Xbox that got banned, so I changed it to Kiddo Bozzy. Well, then when the stream started, I was like, I don't want the name Kiddo in my name.
Right.
And so I ended up going with the alliteration, and I really like Spartans in battle, and like the idea of Spartacus and Roman. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of awesome times in our history, whether they were awesome or not. I think it's cool to look back on history and learn. And so I went with the Spartan helmet, and I went with BattleBozzy. And so that was the original. And Bozzy actually in Europe is slang for, or Bozz is slang for boss. So if you're the Bozz, you're the boss. I see
that. Yeah.
And so I liked that it kind of had a couple. And then there was obviously the Bozz growing up. He was a big character. My mom used to always talk about, yo, it's like the Bozz, and she'd always flex, and I don't know, but yeah, that's where it all started, man. BattleBozzy. It was all about strength, really. But
that's awesome.
And a little gangster.
I'm a little gangster. The name is the same thing. It's awesome to hear where because man, if you look out there and you look through, there is so many different streamers, so many different names, so many different, you can get an idea on where did that name come from? You can kind of get a general idea. And then you come across stuff like Bozzy and BattleBozzy, and you go, where, like, How?
Don't even know, right? Yeah. And honestly,
You know,
it was one of those I mulled over because I was like, this is going to be the name. If it takes off, I'm
yep.
stuck. I'm
Yeah.
stuck with it unless I rebrand, which is
Yep. Which,
crazy sometimes. But
yeah, that's, the same thing with me with the PlainGuy, right? I remember we were trying to figure it out, and I'm like, I want basic. I'm simple. I didn't design I actually had a graphic designer design mine, a friend of mine, and then realized it's literally just a font that he used and threw
yeah,
a border around it. But I'm like, again, it suits the whole thing, right? Is you find that marketing thing for yourself, that name that makes sense. I love that yours even goes back to, you know what I mean, your younger years. Like, it's something that carried around for so long. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Nobody messes with Kiddo Bozzy.
All right, so before we do go today, Rocket League season 4 has just dropped, right? By the time this will air, it'll be about a week old or so.
Yep.
Anything new, anything exciting? What's coming for Rocket League in the future? What do you want to see in Rocket League in the future? You're a big influence. It's a big influence in your stream. What do you want to see? How do we get Epic online here and tell them what we need in the game? I think it's Epic.
So I'm different, man. I don't care about the cars. I don't care about the looks and I mean, they have plenty. People are like, oh, you got titanium white this. I'm like, I don't know, guy. I make my car look a certain way with Bacchus mod, and I go with it. But they have new maps out right now. They have one new map out. It's more Western, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, you put a bunch of race cars in a Western world that's in the middle of nowhere, and I guess it's all right, but I don't even care for the map as much. Scenically, the map is cool, but playing on it, it's just interesting.
Oh, really? Is it same dimensions and everything? I haven't logged
same dimensions. On. It's a little bright. There's a lot of, like, even you can turn off weather effects and you still get it looks like just if you were to have a bunch of cottonwood trees hanging around and all the cotton starts blowing around, that's what it looks like when you're playing on this map. Not my favorite yet. Like I said, scenically, if you're not playing, hey, this is a pretty cool map to look around on. But playing, I don't know, is probably something we'll get used to. It's just a different look. If I was moving forward, if Epic is seeing this right now, I would say stop putting out cars, stop doing sponsorships with racers and stuff, and work on the servers. The servers are so bad. Like they lag out all the time. Right now, they're kicking people for duplicate logins, which has caused me to change my password and then realize that everybody's happening. It's doing it to everybody, which is a Rocket League issue. And so they need a patch for that. They need a patch for their servers. They're having lag.
Latency. I've seen a bunch. I was having constant latency all the time. Issues, and
I mean, I get it if you're playing with somebody from Europe or you're playing with somebody from a distance. I mean, it would be cool if they could come up with bigger servers because Call of Duty doesn't have issues like that. But Rocket League's not the size of game, which, I mean, that's why I picked it. It's because the community is a little more tight knit, and that's what I wanted on Facebook. But at the same time, because it is smaller, they don't have the resources to make their servers top dog all the time. So,
which is
if they would invest a little more time in servers and a little less time on putting new stuff out.
But, that's the spot they get themselves in when they go free to play, though, right? Because there's no coming in for the purchase of the game. So the only way they generate revenue is by constantly having new cars, new paint schemes, new goal explosions.
I agree. I see it. I agree with you. I did business.
Yeah, it's the downside of a free to play game. It's the one downside.
But it wasn't free to play.
No,
until 4 seasons ago. They could have fixed it up until then.
That's true. It's funny because anyone that I play with that I've brought to that game and brought in, and you look at it, and I always run all my cars. I have a Team Fat flag, right? Team Fat. And you can't get that on the free to play. It wasn't, because it was part of the community flags from the previous purchase version. And I look at the stuff they have and I'm like, your inventory is nothing. Like, you can't do anything. Like, there's no kind of make it, it doesn't have to be white. Everyone wants white, or there's just no customization. And then I go, look what I have. How do you have that? Well, before it was free to play, you got all this stuff. Right. Once it went free to play, you need to buy all this stuff. Right.
Well, it's funny. I use Bacchus mod. So Bacchus mod allows you, as long as you have the car model, it allows you to have any wheels, paint, trim, whatever you want. You can just put it on.
You see it. No one else sees it.
Yeah. So for a streamer, it's perfect because everybody sees what I want to see. When you're playing with me, it's different. But I don't care about that. Most people do. They care about that appearance. They want to look good. They want to play. I don't know. It's similar to clothing in that respect, though. People have to wear certain brands. They have to look a certain way. And so,
speaking of which, what are you wearing? What is that? Does it say bananas?
Yeah, it says bananas. Okay. I don't know why I picked bananas today. It's bananas.
It's banana. It's bananas.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, Bozzy, you know, we've gotten the origin of the name. We talked about where you started from today. You know, started with the podcast idea, grew into this amazing Rocket League streamer. Where can people find you? When can they find you? Obviously, we've got the links, but when can they find you? When are you live? You know, what do you got going on?
Hey, I take my Mondays off, which is the day we're recording today. Yep, exactly. But 4 to 8 Eastern every day, except for on Saturdays, which we run tournaments. And those tournaments usually kick off about 8 Eastern.
Okay. And anyone looking to get involved in those tournaments, they can head over to the BattleBozzy page. They'll find all the info there.
Yep, I will actually be putting out a sign up today for the next higher level tourney. And as long as you sign up by Friday, you'll have a spot in the tournament. And if you don't make it by then, you just show up and try to get into the backup spots.
And anybody that is watching BattleBozzy stream when he's playing his community games, if you see PW, that means password. That is a key reference I will make to all you guys. You know the stream I'm referring to. I could not for the life of me figure out what you guys were trying to tell me. And then you were sitting there going, no, don't write that. It's supposed to be in the, people got to read the pinned comment. And anyways,
stop it. Stop it.
That was, I don't know what was wrong with me that day. I took 15 minutes sitting there going, I don't understand. I don't understand. And then I go, and then somebody says PW means password. And I'm like, that makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense. So yeah, if you guys want to play against the Bozz, be careful nobody messes with Kiddo Bozzy.
There it is. There it is. For reference, when you get in, we play with a lot of followers. It's an open, instead of me inviting people in, we just allow it to be like a community thing where you just have to read the rules in a pin, and then it gives you a name password. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah. And then your mods, that's one of the things they do. I remember you've constantly got a mod that's posting up the next 3 that are in.
Yes.
More of the work they do. We couldn't do it. You couldn't do it without them. I'm going to assume.
I couldn't. It would be so hectic. It would be all over the place. Sometimes when they're busy, it gets that way. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. So
I realize how much I need you guys.
Oh, I thank them as much like probably too much, to be honest. But I would rather that than not enough, because they are invaluable.
Absolutely. And so that being said, Bozz, it has been a pleasure to have you on the PlainGuy Show. I want to thank you for coming out, guys. Find him over on Facebook. The links are in the description. Check him out. Drop that follow. Drop that like. Everything helps. He is on his way to the top, and I want to see you guys along for the ride with him. That's right. Hey, Sean, I appreciate you. Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. So I am PlainGuy. This is the Bozz. And this has been the PlainGuy Show. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Later.